Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, June 25th, and I'm your host, Brian Boudreau. It's great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. We have some exciting news. Earlier this month, NCM announced that we were chosen by the Alliance for Community Media, or ACM, for the Overall Excellence Award, which honors one station each year. We are also happy to announce that there were 3 more awards won during this ACM's Hometown Awards. In the Best Audio Programming category, Impact Norwood won for their Impaction podcast. Director of Impact Norwood, Aubrey Seall, was blown away.
It's kind of surreal. I had no idea that our podcast was even entered to win an award, and the fact that there were about 1,000 entries for various categories to be recognized is an honor. The main goal of our podcast is to get information out to parents, guardians, or just anybody in the community in an easy to digest way that doesn't take time away from your day. I'm assuming a lot of people drive around in their car. They can pop on the podcast and get information that way, so they don't have to take time to go to an actual event.
The second winner, Norwood resident Mike Scafati, received the award for his independently produced video on the 2020 graduation. Scafati won in the category of Community Events General.
Jack Tolman called me back in May and said, "Hey, you remember the video that you produced and that we put up on NCM of the graduation? It received an award." And I was like, "Get out of town!" Like that's because that's certainly not my intent when you're going out to make something like that. But it's always flattering to produce work and have it resonate with people. Like I really I love telling stories with film and video. So this, I really felt like it told a story, and that's why it resonated, particularly when it was all happening. Like in June, like we're coming off these awful months and still so much uncertainty ahead. This video, I think, just resonated with people as, because we're all feeling so bad for our class of 2020s who, lost prom, lost graduation, and lost so much. So it was a good feeling.
And finally, in the Government Activities category, NCM was awarded for their 2020 Election Night coverage. Jerry Slater, host of the Election Night, talks about what it was like to produce this annual event during the pandemic.
So the fact that we were even able to hold an election, but report to the town on the results and do it in a way that was safe, but still retain this kind of the character that people have come to know from NCM, was just a walk forward, a step forward for us to feel a little bit back to normal. Of course, the fact that we had masks on and we were socially distant and working with boom mics and outside was completely different, but it turned out to be a beautiful thing. So, couldn't be more grateful, especially in such a difficult year, that NCM was able to take home an award like this for doing something that was truly special. And one of the first times that we ever did something like this. So, the feeling of satisfaction and pride overflow.
Congrats to all the award winners. School's out for summer, and you know what that means: swimming and play camp. NCM visited Haas Pool to see how the Recreation Department has been getting ready to kick off their summer camps and pool openings this summer.
Hi everyone, Katie Seestead here at Haas Pool. I'm just giving everybody an update about our 2 pools here in Norwood. 1 on Washington Street, I'm at the Haas location, and 2 off of Vernon Street, which is our Father Max pool. Our pools are opening Saturday, June 26th, making sure that all of our families, if you are interested in swimming, you can purchase your pool tag pass for the summer on MyRec, or you could come down to the Civic Center and purchase it there. This year we will not have physical tags. However, when you go to the pool, please bring an ID. Our staff will be able to pull up your name and link it to the pool tag that you have purchased, and then you'll be able to go swimming. We have a great aquatic staff. We also have here at Haas Pool, we have a splash pad for our kids. Please remember, all floating devices need to be US Coast Guard certified. So if you are with a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, or someone else that cannot swim and needs a floaty, that has to be US certified by the Coast Guard, and our pool pool staff will check on that. We look forward to having a wonderful year here outside at our outdoor pools. Once again, Vernon Street, we have Father Max. In Washington, we have Haas. We look forward to seeing you guys at the pool or at the splash pad.
Hi Norwood, Christina Grandy here with the Norwood Recreation Department. We are so excited for summer camp to start next Monday, June 28th. We have lots of fun activities in store for you, and the ice cream truck is back. We can't wait to see you at all 3 locations.
Those pools sure do look refreshing. I may have to challenge the rec department to a cannonball competition in the near future. We'll be right back with more town news.
I'm a dad and a pastor.
I'm a mom and a principal.
I am a daughter,
wife, and machu.
Great-grandfather.
I'm a rock climber.
My husband, a father, and a grandfather.
I'm a mother, a daughter, a wife, and a cousin.
I got vaccinated for my parents.
Because I want to be a good neighbor.
For safety and for the people I love.
For my family, for my community, and for our community at large.
કારણ કે મારી ઈચ્છા હતી કે મારા બાળક બીજા બાળક સાથે રમી શકે. I got vaccinated so I didn't have to wear a mask.
For my family and for my community, your community.
We all come from different backgrounds
and speak different languages.
But we all agree on one thing.
Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Getting vaccinated.
get vaccinated.
Vaccination card.
To protect yourself and others, get vaccinated. To find out more information and to find a clinic, go to mass.gov/COVID vaccine.
Welcome back. June is Pride Month, and the library has created a handful of opportunities for the community to learn about inclusion and diversity. Director Clayton Cheever provides an update.
We have been having a great Pride Month. Attendance has been phenomenal. We had a really fun Pineapple Project where they did the play, all helping boys and girls be their best selves. We had a story hour with Drag Kings, Queens, and Friends where we had a great turnout, and we had almost 100 people who came out for that one, and it was just a ton of fun. Everybody was just celebrating favorite colors, playing dress up, and that was a lot of fun. Earlier this week, we had the historical program all about Holland Day, and Cashman from the Historical Society spoke, and we had a great turnout for that. And we have a couple more other programs still coming up, but they're going great. Everybody's having a wonderful time. We're learning a lot, and I've just personally gotten a lot of people appreciating it and reaching out to me to thank me for what we've been doing to help everybody feel welcome here at the library. Pride Month is a time when we really like to celebrate members of the LGBTQ+ community because they are members of our community just like everybody else. And it's a month around the country, around the world, where we celebrate the LGBTQ+ community. As we're welcoming everybody, we want to make sure that everyone feels welcome. And that's why we celebrate Pride Month.
Thanks, Clayton. Children's librarian Kate Teig has some exciting news for the young readers of Norwood, and it may be coming to a school near you.
Hi everybody, it's Miss Kate from the Morrill Memorial Library, and we are here at our first pop-up library. If you folks were with us last summer, we did pop-up library all over Norwood at all the different schools last year, and we had so much fun doing it, and you all liked it so much that we decided to do it again this summer. So if you'd like to come down next week, we are going to be at the Prescott School on Wednesday, the 30th of June, between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And we'll have our whole setup here. We've got a tent to keep us nice and cool. We've got lots of great books for people to look through and check out. Just bring your library card and come say hi to me and Miss Nicole. We'll see you next week.
Thanks again, Miss Kate. Remember, the pop-up library will be at the Prescott School Wednesday, June 30th from 11 to 2. Now we're going to toss it over to Brian Dunn with a sports update.
Hello and welcome into the sports update for this week. My name is Brian Dunn. So just like that, the MIAA tournament is come and gone, and the Mustangs put up some great performances for the 2021 campaign. We start with softball action down at the Lower Cleveland Field against Norwell. Norwood jumped out to an early lead by way of an RBI double from Kaylee Reed. Norwell would bounce back though and give Norwood a run for their money in the late stages, but in the end, Athena Alexopoulos was able to keep the door shut for the Clippers and secure the advancement for the Mustangs. Norwood would fall to a tough Norton team on the road the following Monday. Baseball had a great tournament run, starting with a home game against Marshfield Friday night. Two senior captains jump-started the scoring spree for the Mustangs as Jason Dennehy and Rob Wachowski hit back-to-back home runs on back-to-back pitches to eventually propel the Mustangs to a 10-0 victory at the Bulk Field. They defend their turf again the following Monday against Brookline, and Jonathan Demaray was as good as advertised in this one. Another shutout performance defensively and another blast from our now Endicott Gull baseballer Wachowski to give the Mustangs a 4-0 victory. A real test for Norwood was up next as they traveled to Franklin to take on a top-tier Panther program. Franklin had the early lead, but Norwood did a great job of gunning out some runs and pushing Franklin on their heels. Lots of back and forth, but Franklin took the edge in the late stages and finished 11-7, ending baseball's great tournament run. Boys volleyball drew Newton South for their first matchup of the tournament, and Norwood made the Lions work for every set, but the eventual power of the Lions roster proved to be better that day as Norwood loses in straight sets. Other scores included losses for boys lacrosse and boys tennis, both against Bishop Feehan, and a loss to wrestling against Boston Latin. And that does it for the NEKIS side of the sports world in what was a weird and crazy fast-paced year. We can finally exhale and enjoy the result. Great season from all our student athletes across all 4 seasons. Enjoy your summers, everybody. You deserved it. This one was a year we'll never forget. We turn to summer ball going forward, and that includes League in baseball. First game of the year was a W against Westwood, led by some phenomenal pitching by Stephen Grenham. Kevin Broderick drove in the eventual winning run as well, so we'll have some live League in baseball action coming up for you in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned to that. And as always, stay tuned to NCM on social media for updates on when we will go live for sports this summer. I'll talk to you next week. Brian, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. In government, Monday afternoon, the Middle School Building Committee met for a very brief 15-minute meeting. Justin Tebow presented to the committee about the projected timeline of the project, building layout options, and the projected cost. The committee then voted unanimously to approve the PSR that will be submitted to the MSBA by July 7th. The committee will meet again on July 12th. Also Monday, the Sustainability Commission met with the main purpose of discussing their Sustainability Action Plan. The Commission began with the executive summary and then spent a majority of the meeting talking about their upcoming presentation to the Board of Selectmen. The next Sustainability Commission meeting will be on July 19th. Tuesday morning, the Norwood Board of Health began by announcing that the Health Department will be honored in this year's 3rd of July parade. Department and board members were invited to ride on a float during the parade. During the Impact Norwood report, Francesca Golightly announced to the board that the Impaction podcast won the best audio programming from the Alliance of Community Media. Following the announcement, Sagar Reese provided a COVID update to the board.
We administered 2,758 doses here at the health department, and like Nick was saying, that was a combination of J&J and Moderna. I actually want to, on my report from last week, I want to update these numbers. So as of Wednesday of last week, there was 70% of our residents had at least 1 dose, which is great. We have a very high vaccination rate. About 63% are fully vaccinated. So we'll continue to see those people that are partially vaccinated get their second doses, and that number will hopefully increase a little. But that we have 70% that at least have 1 or more doses. So that captures people that are fully vaccinated and on their way to be fully vaccinated. So that's a great indicator. Our case count is extremely low. In fact, since we started counting in March of 2020, it has never been this low. It's been less than 5. This week it'll be the 3rd week in a row where we have less than 5 cases in a 2-week period. We had some weeks where we had numbers like that at the beginning of March, but if we remember, testing was not as widely available as it is now, so we weren't probably capturing all the cases. We still see a very large amount of testing going on, which is great because our keeps our percent positive down, and also make sure that we do catch those cases that we do have, so it's a much more accurate count.
The Board of Health will not be meeting during the summer, and their next meeting will be scheduled for September 22nd. The final meeting of the week was Wednesday's school committee meeting. The group began with the election for the next school year. Teresa Stewart remains chair, Anne-Marie Mazzola is appointed vice chair, and Superintendent Thompson remains secretary and reappointed his clerk, Donna Dolliner. Superintendent Thompson presented survey results about the 2020-2021 school year. Parents and students from all over the district provided feedback on the remote learning models practiced this past school year. Assistant Superintendent Alec Wyeth presented the equity audit. He explains how the information from students will be used.
The objective of the meeting really was to sort of work with the group in some visioning exercises, and one of the exercises was working the question, why is equity important to me? And so our consultants really did a nice job of sort of capturing all that information, and that is going to be sort of the groundwork for going forward and sort of developing a more full-bodied vision. They also did a Jamboard session where students sort of broke out as a group, family and community members broke out as a group, teachers broke out as a group, and school district leaders broke out as a group, and tried to answer the question: what do you think and feel as students about equity? What would you hear students say and do if they felt the system was an equitable system? What would they see, and other kinds of observations? So they went through a thinking and feeling exercise with folks. What do you do, and what would the stakeholders do and say, and then what would they see if we really had achieved our vision?
More opportunities for inclusion and social emotional learning will be developed next year through additional professional development trainings. Business manager Karen Sheridan presented a budget report, and the board moved into executive session to discuss contract details. After a brief recess, the board returned and voted to meet remotely on July 6th and August 4th. As COVID-19 precautions are decreasing in the state, the board discussed the mask mandate for summer school teachers and students.
I make a motion that we suspend the face covering policy. How about we just say indefinitely, with the intention that it may be revisited later. And we also, we ask the administration to put out a statement that encourages the use of face masks for all unvaccinated people indoors.
Okay, is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Anne Marie, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so that does pass 3-2.
The school committee meets again remotely on July 6th. And for complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news.
The Ecumenical Community Food Pantry of Norwood is a local volunteer organization that serves families in Norwood and the surrounding towns. Founded in 1989, serving just 6 clients, the pantry has grown to now serving over 350 families. Located at 150 Chapel Street in Norwood, the entrance to the pantry is at the back of the Grace Episcopal Church. The pantry hours are from 9 a.m. to 11:40 a.m. on Saturday mornings. For more information about the Norwood Food Pantry or how to donate or volunteer, visit www.norwoodpantry.org.
Welcome back. Monday night, the Morrill Memorial Library hosted F. Holland Day, Daring to Love, a Zoom presentation by historian and president of the Norwood Historical Society, Cashman Kerr Prince. The presentation was in honor of Pride Month, examining local historical figure F. Holland Day, a photographer, publisher, dandy, friend of Oscar Wilde and Cahill Gibran, genealogist, local historian, and so much more. Kerr reveals the portrait of a fascinating man of means, grappling with his sexuality and daring to love in the Boston area over a century ago. To watch the full presentation, tune into the NCM Community Channel. A fan favorite here in Norwood, the 0K Road Race is this weekend. This unique fundraiser helps the Norwood Legion baseball team and takes place this Sunday, June 27th at 11 a.m. right on Day Street. If you want to run or make a donation, you can buy a ticket at the door for $25 or Venmo Sean Cady at Sean-Cady-3. Tickets also get you a t-shirt, so make sure you know your size when you sign up. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We end this week's newscast with a video produced by the Massachusetts Public Health Association. This past year, the health department across the state of Massachusetts has gone above and beyond during the pandemic. The video is a way to say thank you for all they have done and continue to do. On behalf of NCM, we also want to say thank you for everything the health department does day in and day out.
Most of the time, the work of local public health professionals is invisible. That's because when they do their jobs well, the result is that nothing bad happens. People eating out at restaurants don't get food poisoning. Local residents don't get sick from contaminated water. Kids aren't exposed to lead paint. The fact is, when sickness and disease are prevented, no one notices. So local public health workers have gotten pretty used to flying under the radar, doing their critical work behind the scenes. But all that changed when COVID-19 arrived in Massachusetts. More people began paying attention to the work of their local boards of health. That's because in our Commonwealth, we rely on those boards to contain contagious diseases like COVID, using quarantine, contact tracing, and isolation techniques.
With the arrival of COVID, public health news was suddenly front page news. Everyone was talking about contact tracing, isolation, quarantine. The amount of attention was pretty overwhelming, and our phones were ringing off the hook.
As COVID rates rose steeply, the governor declared a state of emergency. Local public health professionals and volunteers were working overtime to report positive test results to the state, track disease clusters, trace known contacts of infected people, recommend quarantine and isolation solutions, provide food and other services to the growing number of people confined to their homes. In an effort to contain the virus, the state issued dozens of public health orders for businesses and the public. Local health workers rose to the challenge of interpreting and enforcing them, intensifying their already overwhelming workloads.
The early days of the pandemic were really a nightmare for local public health. We were scrambling to understand the rules, understand the science, communicate to terrified people with their diagnosis. We were struggling to find personal protective equipment for any number of folks who wanted it, like home health aides, businesses, our colleagues in local government. We were dealing with endless business questions about the rules from the lockdown. We were trying to communicate to the state what we needed, and the cases just kept coming and coming and coming. And it was exhausting and terrifying.
Inadequately funded even before the pandemic, local public health staff worked nights and weekends, shouldering the Herculean task of trying to keep all of us safe. And they were there for us again and again with each new wave of COVID cases, day after day, month after month. They fought to stop the spread. With the arrival of effective vaccines for COVID-19, a new responsibility was added once again. Local public health officials dug in, working with the state as part of a larger effort to vaccinate millions.
The truth is, without the efforts of our local public health workforce, things would have been much, much worse. From large cities to small towns, all across the state, they have made enormous sacrifices. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to each and every one of them.
And it's not over yet. We still have a long way to go to assure vaccine equity. And as we recover, it is up to all of us to make sure that our local public health departments have the resources they need to do their life-saving work.
Hi, my name is Damone Chaplin. I'm the health director for the New Bedford Health Department and board member for MPHA. I am one of thousands of public health professionals across the state, and here are a few of my colleagues.
I am public health.
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 And I'm public health.
I am public health.
I am public health.
I am public health.
I am public health. We are public health.
On behalf of the Massachusetts Public Health Association and all Bay State residents, I want to thank our local public health heroes. We are truly grateful for your service.